Veterans Day is very important to me. My father and my grandfather were both veterans. I became a veteran when I went to Desert Storm back in the early 90s. And it reminds me of service, thinking of all those who have served in the past, who are serving now, and that will serve in the future. I got into the military. I was always interested in the military growing up, watching war movies and stuff like that. Back then it was World War II, and I ended up going in the National Guard, Ohio National Guard, to go to college. They offered tuition reimbursement at the time. But when I got in, I really enjoyed the discipline and the experiences I had, the people I met. During the summer, we'd go for our annual training. Typically, it was 2 weeks, and we'd go to Grayling, Michigan, we really didn't get involved in it too much. We'd stay out in the field and train our jobs, what we were supposed to do. A couple years later, we ended up going to Honduras for our 3 weeks of training. The National Guard was involved in building roads for the Hondurans. We got more into doing convoy escort, more of what our job was supposed to be. We're a military police, so we did convoy escort, guarding bases and stuff like that. So it got a little bit more serious at that time. The next year we went to Germany, and they had their annual training was Reforger. It was late winter, early spring. Shortly after that, that's when we were activated for Desert Storm. I was in the military, and I actually had already gotten in the apprenticeship. So I was in the apprenticeship, I had 2 years left. I'm like, okay, I got this. We'll cruise through our last 2 years and get the apprenticeship done, and that's when I got activated. I was a first-year apprentice, 6 months in, and I got activated. My father was an electrician, and at first I didn't think I wanted to be an electrician. I went to school, really couldn't find my way in college, what I wanted to be, didn't have a good direction. So I went ahead and I got a job with a contractor, doing deliveries, truck driver they called it, deliveries, material handling, and so forth, and decided I enjoyed that, and I wanted to apply for the apprenticeship. My dad and I growing up didn't have much in common. You know, my younger brother was he was more buddies with my dad than I was, but I got in the trade, and I had something in common with my father. So I got to share stories with him, and he would share stories with me, and it was something we could bond over. It was a good experience. So I used my military experience to the discipline and the making good use of time, keeping yourself busy. I used that, applied that work ethic towards my apprenticeship, and the discipline carried over and drove me to do well.